Hi guys, it's Eric from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and today I will be discussing my favorite TV shows. Now this was a huge topic for me because I got a recommendation asking me my favorite sci-fi and fantasy TV shows, and while I do enjoy my sci-fi and fantasy TV shows, I thought it wouldn't be quite of a list if I didn't do all my other favorite TV shows with it. So I'm going to be discussing my favorite TV shows, some from my past that I continue loving to this day, and some that I'm currently loving. Like, one of these two shows I literally just barely watched yesterday. I watched the full entire first season of this show, and so far I'm obsessed with it. I'm on season 2 right now. I just love it so much. So here we go with the shows that I don't have with me, because I have some in physical form. They're like right over here, but I don't have some in their physical form, so I'll start with those. I thought at first I would start off with Netflix originals, because I'm not, I love Netflix. I love their originals, but I can't really buy them. Like, Walmart sells them, but at the same time, I'm just over here like, why would I want to buy them if they're Netflix originals and they're gonna continue being on Netflix? Netflix forever long. Netflix wants to keep them there. So I decided, as long as I pay for my Netflix, I won't buy them on DVD. So let's get started with that. So the first Netflix show that I really am liking so far, I just finished season 1 yesterday of it, and that is Atypical. For those of you who don't know what Atypical is about, Atypical follows a 18-year-old high school student suffering from autism and his search to find love. At first, I didn't think I would really like this show. I hadn't heard of any of the cast in it. Didn't really seem like something that would intrigue me, but Netflix had this score of 98% on it, and usually whenever it's on the 98 percentile of things I might like, I tend to check out. So I checked this one out, and I completely loved it. I was sorry for doubting that I wouldn't like it. It's a very funny comedy, but it also has its serious moments because it's dealing with such a serious topic, the serious topic of autism, and what it's like to have autism, because we follow a main character of autism, and I loved it. I especially love his girlfriend, Paige, in it. Paige is my favorite character. His therapist is alright. His sister, I totally loved Casey so much. I loved his dad. His mom, I don't like what she's doing in season 1. I don't. I like the end of season 1. For people who have watched Atypical, you know what I'm talking about. But oh my god, I hate that bartender. I really hate that bartender, and the rest of the people I can live without. But this show has a very great cast of supporting characters as well as main characters. So it's definitely something that I will definitely be checking out for season 2. Now this one is more nostalgic than anything on Netflix originals. I know a lot of people don't like it because it doesn't stay true to the original. Some people don't mind it, and other people just absolutely loathe it. But I am one of those people that are so consumed with nostalgia, I don't really care how bad it is, as long as I'm getting more of that, and that's Fuller House. I was a huge fan of Full House when I was younger because it was something for me and my dad to watch on television. We watched a lot of Full House, so did me and my sister. It's one of the very few shows me and my sister actually like watching together. We have two totally separate TV show watching styles. I think the only two we could actually agree that we like watching together were Full House and Vampire Diaries, and that was it. The only two things that me and my sister ever had in common when it comes to television. But I loved this story. Fuller House, for those of you that don't know, it kind of similarly follows the plot line of Full House. Full House, we have DJ, who was the eldest daughter of Danny Tanner in Full House, and she moves into the Tanner residence, back into her old house. After her husband dies. Her and her 3 sons move in there along with her best friend Kimmy and her sister Stephanie. And I know what you guys are thinking, what happened to Michelle? Well, they couldn't get Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen to sign up onto this project, which I totally understand. They've come out saying that they're just children when they're there. This was filmed, so they don't really have as much as an emotional investment in it as much as the older characters do, which is something I totally understand. I totally get where Mary-Kate and Ashley are coming from. But this show, if you don't like things that throw shade, this show does have a habit of throwing shade at Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen for not coming back onto it, which is one part I don't like, but the rest of it's okay. Okay, I think the one character I actually like from it is Ramona, who is Kimmy's daughter. I like that character. And I really do like DJ. DJ is one of my favorite characters from Full House. And Stephanie's okay, but meh. You know. Another show that I've reviewed in full because it's a TV show versus book comparison. And that's 13 Reasons Why. When I figured out 13 Reasons Why was going to be a Netflix original, I was terrified. This is one of my favorite contemporary books of all time. This show follows the story of Clay, who after one of his fellow students, Hannah Baker, commits suicide, receives these 7 tapes with 13 reasons why this fellow student killed herself, and things tend to escalate whenever Clay finds out that he is one of the reasons why. Now, this show was absolutely amazing when I watched it. I binge-watched this show in 2 days. Maybe a week, I can't remember. I think it was 2 to 3 days. It was somewhere in between 1 day to a week for me, and I absolutely loved it. I know it wasn't a day because I couldn't watch that much depressing in a day, but I'll warn you guys, while this show does have its funny and heartfelt moments, this show is a very serious show that just tears you up on the inside because of the subject matter, and I love it, but at the same time, it was really depressing, so I really need to be in a mood to watch a really depressing show and serious show to watch this one, but this one is definitely a good one. I just can't binge watch this show like multiple times because of how hurtful it is to me, especially the last episode. The last episode really got me upset and emotional, and that's because I really feel close to the subject matter, but at the same time, it's just ow. And then we're supposed to be getting a season 2 of 13 Reasons Why. I'm not sure how they're gonna continue the story of 13 Reasons Why, because it's kind of weird, because they only had 1 book to go off the subject matter. I think this would have been better as a mini-series, them totally be completely done with it. I don't necessarily think they needed a season 2, but, I'm still gonna watch it. Still gonna see how they're gonna go on with this story, because this is a serious subject. But I think it loses its meaning if you keep on continuing the series. But we'll see. I don't want to judge it too harshly. Another show that I found on Netflix that was actually quite amusing with me, it has Drew Barrymore in it, which is the number 1 reason why I watched it, and that's Santa Clara Diet. It's a Netflix original about a couple. The mom somehow gets a virus that turns her into a zombie. And the rest of the series goes on from there. This series is actually pretty interesting. I thought it would completely gross me out, so I didn't continue. want to continue watching it, or I didn't want to actually start watching it. And then my husband told me, you have to watch this. I think it'll be something that you actually really like. Really like. It seems right up your alley because you love The Walking Dead. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll check it out. So I checked it out, and it was really hilarious. I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. It's only in season 1 right now, but I really think they could make it even more serious and funny from here. I know, but we'll see. The next show I have here is actually one I have in common with my dad. I actually started watching this in 2005 with my dad, and I've been watching it ever since, even though I'm completely behind on Grey's Anatomy. I said I'm watching it ever since, but I rewatch episodes because as soon as one of my favorite beloved characters got off the show, I didn't want to watch it anymore, and I'm trying to rewatch it so I could give it another chance, and that's Grey's Anatomy. I loved the first 10 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, and then when Christina Yang got off the show, I was totally devastated. I didn't want to watch Grey's Anatomy without Christina, and then Owen hooked up with Amelia, and I don't ship Owen and Amelia together. I know a lot of people say you can't judge Amelia until you watch Private Practice, and no, I guess I can judge Amelia until I watch that, but since I didn't watch Private Practice and had no interest in watching Private Practice, I don't like Amelia, so guess I can't judge her, but at the same time, I can actually silently judge her. And Meredith's a hit or miss with me. I like her some days, I don't like her other days. If I had to pick my favorite character, definitely Christina. Christina is definitely my favorite. And if I had to pick a current one, it's Owen, because I love Kevin McKidd so much. It's just, So the next show I have is actually one me and my husband started watching together. Well, actually, he watched it before I did, and he said, you have to watch this show. It's funny. I can't believe you don't like this show. And for me, I only watched like an episode or two with my sister when I was growing up, and that's that 70s show. It stars Topher Grace and Lauren Prepong and Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. And the other two guys, which names I'm blanking on right now. Sorry, actors. But it stars a group full of teenagers in the 70s, and I didn't think I would like this show as much as I did. But it started really growing on me until the last season. I can't do the last season, guys. I just can't do it. I have this thing where I hate where the main character of the show just quits the show automatically and the show goes on. It's what ruined Vampire Diaries for the most part, and you can definitely see the suffering of main star loss when it comes to that 70s show, because the last season is horrific, and yeah, and I'm still pissed off about the two people that didn't end up together. I'm still pissed off about that. A lot of people are upset with me. I can't really discuss it because it's a spoiler, and a lot of people love that 70s show, and I'm not sure if a lot of people are done with that 70s show. It's been, it's been done for a while, so I guess it's not really spoiler, but at the same time, I don't really want to spoil anything. So the next one I have here is a new CW show that's also on Netflix, but you could also get it on the CW.com, and that's Riverdale. Riverdale's really crazy. It's loosely based off the Archie comics. Like, it has the main characters from the Archie comics, but it takes place it's more of a mystery type deal in this town called Riverdale. It's very crazy to explain. It's like a murder mystery type show with a lot of craziness going on. It also has the humor from the Archie comics and the character from the Archie comics, and I'm just over here like, You don't think these two things would mesh together, like Archie comics and a murder mystery, but it really did well. Well, like the first half, I had to tunge through because my friend Ashley, she was saying, "Have you watched the rest of Riverdale?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't watched the rest of Riverdale. I've watched Riverdale, but at the same time, I haven't watched all of it." And she told me, "You have to get through the past couple episodes, and then it gets really good." So I get past the past couple episodes, and I completely loved it. Still really don't like Archie though. I don't like Archie as a main character. I I literally call him the man slut of Riverdale because, well, he's the nicest guy. He gets around a lot. Like, seriously, I think he had like 4 different love interests in the first season, and usually I have a problem with a guy having 2 different love interests. Same with a girl. A girl as well. I don't like multiple love interests. Like, 1 or 2 is fine because, love triangles are still a thing, so I've learned to accept them. But whenever I have a love quadrangle going on, I don't really like it. Let's see, whose love interest, Archie had a lot. Archie had Miss Grundy. Archie had Betty. Archie had Veronica. He had that one girl from Pussycats that I'm totally spacing on, but after, and then he had this weird old kiss thing with Cheryl. In that one episode, she initiated it, but it was still weird, and I'm just over here okay, stick to 2 ladies maybe, but whenever you have a main character who's being tossed around by every main girl on the show, it starts to get annoying, honestly. So I hope they keep him with who they have him with for a while, because I'm tired of Archie dating. I really am. I like stable love interest. And I get there are guys like that. They'd be the nicest guy, but they date multiple girls, and I get that. But at the same time, 1 or 2 is enough. No, he doesn't need 5. 5. Okay, so the next one I have here is actually one that I watched a lot with my mom, and that's The Walking Dead. Walking Dead. A lot of people won't be surprised by this because in some of my videos you can notice I'm wearing my I Love Daryl shirt, which is from The Walking Dead. Walking Dead. I don't feel like I need to explain The Walking Dead. It's a post-apocalyptic dystopian type show about Rick Grimes. It follows the main character, Rick Grimes, and he wakes up from a coma in the zombie apocalypse. After a tragic accident happens, and I'm just over here okay, I don't think I like this show, but then suddenly I started watching it. I got to season 5, and that's the longest I've got to is season 5. Season 5, but I definitely love Daryl. Daryl's awesome. I hate his brother, but I love him. And that's all I'm going to say about that one. Next one I have here, it's an anime, which will surprise people because in order to make my list of favorite shows, animes have to be really good. I am a person that doesn't really like animes, but I have 3 on my list that are really great, and I love them so much. And the first one I have on my list is Death Note. Death Note. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people haven't heard of Death Note by now. They just came out with a Netflix original movie for Death Note, which doesn't do the series justice, by the way. So if you want me to do a review of the Death Note movie versus the anime, I could do that. I can't do the manga, though. I still have to read the manga. I have to actually not force myself to read the manga, but I have to actually make myself sit down and take time to read the manga, because I really want to read the manga, because I have a coworker, and he says I need to read the manga because the manga is awesome. And it goes into way more detail than the series does. And I agree with him on that one, so I definitely gotta get that manga. But for people who don't know what Death Note is about, it follows a teenager named Light. I'm not going to say his last name because I'm afraid I'll butcher his last name. It's Turner in the Death Note movie, but it's Yumagami in the anime. You see, I told you I'd butcher it. I butchered it. So he's a normal teenager, and then one day the Death Note falls into his possession, and the Death Note has the power, gives the owner power to kill anyone that he pleases, with a few conditions. The owner must know what the person of the Death Note what the person looks like, and they also have to know their first and last name, which becomes very crucial for Light in the middle of the series. If you haven't watched it, but it's a really great series. It's really dark, and I love the concept of Death Note. I love what I got out of Death Note and the meaning behind Death Note. It's an amazing series. I started watching Death Note because I found it on Netflix one day, and then being me, I went back to middle school when I had this friend. Her name was Sally. She was obsessed with Death Note. She said she loved it all the time, and I remember her saying that she loved this show, this anime, and I was looking for more anime to get into because I was on an anime. I really wanted to watch an anime that I would like, so I found Death Note, and I started watching it, and I really liked Death Note. And it's surprising how, it grew on me. Next show I have here, I finished the first season of. I really need to get through the rest of the 4 seasons as soon as I get my Amazon Prime back. So these 2 shows are on Amazon Prime, and I need to finish them. This first one I am on season 2 of, and that's Orphan Black. And Orphan Black is crazy, guys. I think Orphan Black is... I'm not going to ruin the synopsis of Orphan Black because it's a really intriguing show and a very complicated show at that. There's this one actress who plays multiple characters on this show, but it's good to go into the show blind, not knowing what it's about, because it's more intriguing that way. So I won't spoil anything, but oh my god, guys, Orphan Black is just amazing so far. And then the next show that I have to actually finish because I'm on season 5, and the last season is airing soon, and that's Teen Wolf. At first, I didn't want anything to do with Teen Wolf. I watched the first episode of it, and I was like, I don't know why so many people like Teen Wolf. I hate Teen Wolf. And then my friend Sarah, who's ironically also named Sarah, was like, no, you have to watch this. And then I was like, maybe. And then my other friend, Ashley, was like, bro, the first season you have to punch through, but as soon as you get past the first season, it's amazing. And I have to agree with her. It's really amazing. But season 5 is really hard for me to get through right now, especially because I lost access to my Prime because I can't afford it right now. But I'm gonna get it back soon. I finally have enough money to get my Prime back, so I'm excited about that. And then the next show I have here, that's gonna be the last one on this tiny piece of paper because I have the rest right here, is... Oh god, I've been talking for a long time. The next one I have here is a CW show, and that's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is amazing. It's a musical comedy following a mid-aged woman named Rebecca, who moves all the way from her boring, unsatisfying life in New York to follow her ex-boyfriend, Josh, all the way to West Covina, California. And oh my god, guys, I didn't think I would love this series as much as I did, but it's clever, and it's clever in a way that you don't know it's clever, but it's so amazing. And the musical numbers aren't actually that bad. The number 1 reason why I continued this series in the first place was Santiago. I can't say his last name for the life of me. But he plays Greg on the show, and they were my main ship. I shipped them so hard, and then Santiago decided that he didn't want to do it anymore, which I understand. I'd rather an actor that's not invested in the show leave before he becomes a crucial main character. in this show before it's like in its fifth or sixth season. Nina. But yeah. Yeah. And yes, I did throw shade at Nina Dobrev just now. I'm still kind of salty about it, guys. Still kind of salty. But at least she got to the last episode of that one. But this show is amazing. Amazing. And I thought, and this is a perfect segue to get in my next favorite show, which is, ironically, / not ironically, The Vampire Diaries. Vampire Diaries is a CW show. You could also watch all 8 seasons of it from Netflix, but I preferred getting these because it's my favorite show of all time. So, Vampire Diaries, if you've been living under a rock and haven't heard about Vampire Diaries, follows this teenage girl named Elena. This is following the death of her parents. Her life has been turned upside down, flipped on its head, and then one day she meets Stefan Salvatore, and then her life forever changes from there. This show is so amazing. I love it so much, and the only reason I actually think the only reason I watched the show was for Ian Somerhalder, who plays Damon Salvatore. I'm not really the hugest fan of Stefan Salvatore. For everyone who has watched my reviews, you know I hate Stefan Salvatore, and Damon Salvatore is my bae, and I totally love him so much. So much, and everyone knows Delana is my OTP. It's like my favorite OTP besides Rose and Demeter from Vampire Academy, but this show is amazing. For people who haven't watched the show, I'd recommend it, except the 7th season, because after we lost Nina Dobrev, it was just shenanigans from there. I don't think the script writer really wanted to write it anymore, but she continued the series. Anyway, the 7th season was okay, and the 8th season was trash. I hated it. Liked the ending, didn't love it, but it was an okay ending for the show. Personally, I have a friend who hates this ending, and then she points out why she hates this ending, and I totally agree with her on it. But I totally love the show, especially Damon Salvatore. Does anyone not know my favorite character? It's definitely Damon. On this one. The next show I have here is actually one that I've been binge watching like crazy, and that's Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a very hard series to describe. It's like, I don't even know what year this is set in, but Game of Thrones is very interesting, and I love it so much. It follows multiple perspectives in, I think it was the Middle Ages, I can't remember. It's one of those eras, and it's got kings and queens and families and shenanigans and political intrigue, and I love it a lot. If I had to pick my favorite character, I really love Tyrion. I love Arya. Sansa is growing on me a little bit. I hate Joffrey more than anything. I'm only in season 2 right now, but I have the whole series here, and I'm definitely binge watching it. I love Daenerys Targaryen. She's awesome. And I even like Tywin Lannister. He gets a bad rep, but I really like Tywin. And no, I haven't got to Ramsay yet. I'm still on the I hate Joffrey train right now, but I can't wait to get to it. The next show I have here is Supernatural. I have a feeling I don't have to explain what Supernatural is. It's been on for 13 seasons. This follows the only thing that you really have to focus on is that it's about two brothers, and it starts off with a search of finding their dad, but it also is about them battling monsters and things that go bump in the night, and I love it so much. They're my second favorite fictional brothers besides Damon and Stefan. Next one I have here is one that might shock people, but that's True Blood. I know True Blood gets a bad rep, especially the last episode and the last season. Oh my god. After, Evil Bill, I tuned out this show, but I still watched the finale. I hated it, but at the same time I still have a mad respect for True Blood, and that's mostly because Alexander Skarsgård. I love Alexander Skarsgård. Honestly, he's awesome. Next show I have here is another show that might surprise people. That's Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives I watched when I was a middle school / teenager. It follows the story of 5 middle-aged women trying to solve the mystery of their friends' deaths and their shenanigans, and I love this show so much. It's like so amazing, and my favorite character has to be Gabby, for people who want to know. Now, the next series I have here is Glee. Glee is a musical comedy following several high school students that join a Glee club. And I know Glee gets a really bad rep because a lot of people find it annoying, but I don't find it annoying, and you have to really get through season 1 to understand why I love Glee so much, because the first season is trash. I hated the first season, but after that, I loved it so much. The other one I have here is Pretty Little Liars. I know a lot of people know what Pretty Little Liars is about. Pretty Little Liars follows a group of 4 teenage girls. I know there's 5 on the cover, but, bear with me. This follows the story of 4 teenage girls and them trying to solve the death of their friend Alison De Laurentiis, and them getting blackmailed by this person named A, who they might think is their friend, but it might also not be. This series has series has a very loyal fan base. I'm part of this huge fan base. I did watch the final episodes I just didn't get a review out for it, so if anyone wants to know my final thoughts on the final episode of the season, comment down below and let me know, and I'll get to it. But this series, guys, I love it so much. Next series I have here is The Big Bang Theory. I watched this show with my dad, and it follows a group of scientists and their lives and trying to find their place in this world and their love interest, and I totally love all the guys on this one. If I had to pick a guy that's my favorite, Sheldon's definitely my favorite, but Leonard's a close second, and I definitely love Amy. Amy and Sheldon are my babies, and I love them so much. Next show I have here is actually surprising because a lot of people hate Lifetime, but this is a Lifetime original, and that's Unreal. This is kind of like a Bachelor-esque type of show that follows the producers of The Bachelor, but instead of calling it The Bachelor on this show, they call it Everlasting, I think the show's called, so they follow the producers of Everlasting, and it might seem like a boring show to a lot of people, but this show has shenanigans and plot twists and very vindictive ways of thinking. Like, the main character is so vindictive, and she's so morally corrupt that I love her so much. I didn't think I'd be obsessed with this show, but I'm normally obsessed. The next show is an oldie but a goodie, and that's One Tree Hill. This series follows Lucas Scott in his teen years, and then they have a 5-year jump halfway through the series, and it follows other characters, but it's definitely a good series. If people love basketball with a little bit of heart to it, like an underdog story, One Tree Hill is definitely one of those. And for people who must know who my favorite character from One Tree Hill is, it's Brooke. I love Brooke so much, and I relate to Brooke in multiple ways, but Brooke Davis is definitely my favorite character on this one. And as for favorite ships on this one, for people who want to know who my favorite ship is, it's definitely Nathan and Haley. I don't think any other couple in the show touches them, honestly. Next show I have here is a show that a lot of people would be surprised that I like watching, but that's Shameless. Shameless, this show is on Showtime, and it's also on Netflix, but it follows, like, I think it's like 5 children, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it follows Frank Gallagher and his 6 children. 6 children, and I love this show so much. So much. It's like a very great show. I don't know the way to explain it correctly without giving a lot away about the show, but I definitely love this show. I don't really like Debbie at the moment. Debbie's my least favorite character, but if I had to pick my favorite character, it's definitely a tie between Lip and Ian. But let's face it, Ian is like my special little snowflake over here. I love him so much. He just has to be protected, and I love him so much, and I love his storylines, and I also like Lip storylines, and Fiona kind of, like, is in the middle. I don't really like her, but I don't really hate her either, and this is such a well-acted show, and I love it so much. Next show I have here is a really old show, and that's Degrassi, The Next Generation. I grew up with Degrassi, The Next Generation, and I found some DVDs for Degrassi, The Next Generation, and I totally was like, oh my god, I need these DVDs, so I got them, and I'm rewatching the series, and I still love it. Love it. For people that don't know what Degrassi is, it follows a group of teenagers in high school. Degrassi, and it switches around main cast members a lot in Next Generation. But if I had to pick my favorite, it would definitely be Emma or Paige. The next one I have here is another anime, and that's Ruby. Ruby, this follows 4 different girls and their teammates. And it's very complicated to explain the synopsis of Ruby. It's one of those shows that I went into blind, but I totally love it. Still need to watch 3rd volume, but I'm gonna get to it. Next series I have here is Vampire Knight, another well-beloved anime / manga. And this follows Yuki and her school, which is actually it's not overrun by vampires, but they know what vampires exist. It belongs in the it follows the story of a girl that's in the day class, and she's kind of obsessed. She's not obsessed with the night class, but she's a protector of the night class, as well as her friend Zoro, and I love Zoro. He's like one of my favorite characters. I actually got a keychain of Zoro around here somewhere. But I totally love him so much. He's my favorite character. And I ship Zero and Yuki. No matter what people say. So the next one I have here is a huge series that I watched with my dad. And it's really old, but I love it. And that's I Love Lucy. And it just follows the shenanigans of Lucy Ricardo and her husband. And I love it so much. And then last but not least, one of my all-time favorite series that I got the huge box set for, and that's Full House. And I love this Full House set. It's like the hugest set that you could find. It's all 9 seasons of Full House in one. And I love the way it looks, and I love that it has the Tanner house. It's shaped like the Tanner house. But I watched the series when I was younger, and I still watch the series because nostalgia, and for people who don't know what Full House is about, it's about 3 men raising 3 girls after the loss of Danny's wife, and I love it so much. It's so amazing, and it's got the right balance between the adults and the kids, and while still being a family-friendly show, and I totally love it. But there you guys have it. That was my favorite shows from all through my decades. So, what are your guys' favorite shows? Comment down below and let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video.